Hey guys, everything new under the sun. Now this is a really quick video about layer baths and lighting. Now I have a couple of LEDs, the images of what you saw there. Low wattage, and because my chicken shed is running on solar power, and what you're seeing there is my solar hot water heater that I had for the water bowl, I guess 2 winters ago, and it worked pretty well. I had a hot water coil in there, but the components that I got off eBay actually melted down because the hot water coil, it was a little coffee warmer actually, just off eBay. It was drawing so much amperage it kind of melted down one of the temperature switch component, which was actually showing the temperature display there. So I kind of gave up on that, to be honest. I mean, I'm right beside a river, so I just go and fill up the water every morning anyways. It's no big deal. And I don't have any real electricity down there to run, a powered, heated water bowl. Just as well, but so today was the day to actually unhook that. It was just drawing power needlessly, and I had it on there forever. Because what I want to do today is to move to a lighted chicken shed for the chickens so that they'll lay. Now it's about -2 degrees here. It's beginning of January actually, and the chickens haven't been laying. Now it's because of the shorter days. So if you add light to your coop to extend the daylight hours, that will trick them into thinking that it's kind of more summer and they'll start laying again, and a bit more frequently. So we decided to do that since we weren't getting any eggs from our chickens, and it's kind of hard to deal with feeding them all the time and not getting any eggs. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just pulling out the wires for that old hot water heater or water bowl heater from my solar charge controller here. This is my MPPT charge controller, and from EP Solar. And I've done lots of videos. You can search my channel for the review on that. And then I've got a 120 watt little 12 volt inverter that you can see I'm holding in my hand there. And I have that to run 2 LED lights, which are over AC actually. It's not over DC. Which, I'm wasting power there, I know that, but regardless, I'm going ahead. So I've got this heavy duty timer here, which I'll show you a clip of. So this is your straight up Canadian Tire, Walmart, whatever, 120 volt wall timer, and you usually get more clips than just 2. But basically you set it to the time, and you set the on clip and the off clip, and that turns the appliance on or off, whatever you want. In this case, it's going to be turning 1 light bulb on. I had 2 light bulbs in the chicken shed, both LED, but to conserve even more energy, I unplugged 1 LED, and so I set it basically for the current time, and that will track 24-hour time, obviously, around the clock for each day. And I set it to turn the light on at 5 a.m. and off at about 8 o'clock, and everything's kind of a rough estimate with these really simple timers. This is really ballpark. I just the sun comes up pretty much 7:38, so I wanted to add a couple of hours at the beginning of the day just to extend their daylight hours a little bit. I believe you need like 16 hours or something like that to get them laying 100%. So I'm just showing the clips there that I have there. Really super simple. I listened to it because you can hear it buzzing, and that way you know it's working. And then I plug the lights into the side of it like I do there. And so the whole inverter stays running. The timer stays running, obviously. It draws, it appeared to be drawing about 0.3 amps, when the light was off. So just the inverter drawing power and the timer. So that's what I'm doing there. Well, it is the next day. When I came in the morning, the light was indeed on. It has now shut off. You can see it went past, and of course the light is not turned on right now. Light up there. So it did come on about 5 a.m. and shut off about 8 o'clock. These timers aren't super precise. One thing to note though, this was down to 12.0 volts. So it really drew the battery down. It would have only consumed 3 amp hours, maybe 5 amp hours at max. And this thing has 115 amp hours of power storage in it. Brand new battery, all things considered equal. Well, it's not a brand new battery, but if it was a brand new battery, then it should have been able to hold that much. So it's a 12 volts. So it's had to catch up. So it's sucking in 1.3 amps right now. It is currently drawing, the inverter is currently drawing 0.3 amps. You can see the value on the bottom, and the voltage stands about 14.1. So it's an overcast day today, not hugely sunny. Although I would think it's near capacity, because if it wanted more power, I would think it should be pulling in at least 2 amps if it really needed it. So I don't really think it needs it right now, which means it's fully recovered, or at least it thinks it's fully recovered at 14.1 volts. I imagine it got up to 15 volts this morning. Even with the overcast, like I said, I would think it would be pulling more than 1 amp. There's about 120 watts worth of solar panel up there. So I'll just go and show it to you, just so you can see it anyways. Solar panel is up there, 120 watts. Each panel is 30 watts each, and you can see some blue sky. So it's not a completely blue sky, but the sun is there, and it's bright enough that 120 watts would be pulling in more than an amp if it really thought it needed it. So I do have to assume that it has pulled in the amperage, the amp hours that were drained from it, 5 amp hours or so. And so it would have started charging, from 8 o'clock this morning, basically when the sun came up. So it would have recovered all the amp hours that the light used and the timer used and the inverter used underneath it. So that's good and it's bad. It'll be good because it's going to exercise this lead acid battery. With these batteries, these lead acid, you do need to exercise them, or they benefit a little bit from exercising them. Because what it does is, when you drain it and then charge it back up, the lead blocks, the lead walls, whatever you call them in there, then stretch and contract and expand with the change in voltage, and that kind of just helps to, I forget what it is, crack up the the surface of them and kind of get the fluids moving around in there, and it kind of restores it to discharge it and recharge it a couple of times. So pulling it down to 12 volts wasn't the end of the world, and that may actually help in restoring it maybe a little bit, maybe restoring the capacity a little bit. Anyways, I just want to bring you that update. The solar power off-grid chicken shed, I was going to say homestead. Not there yet for the homestead, but this EP Solar MPPT charge controller is amazing. It just works flawless, absolutely flawless. I definitely recommend it. And it does come with this handy meter. This doesn't show the watts, but it does show the amps and the voltage, so you can calculate the watts. But it's always nice to have the watts included there. Anyways, I think it's going to work because I'm only doing 3 hours a day. Even recovering 5 amp hours should be no big deal for 120 watts, even with cloudy days, etc. So that's the update. Thought I'd bring that to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll let you know if my birds start producing eggs. We'll talk to you in the next video. I just came back to this after shooting another quick little clip about my layer boxes. I noticed it bumping up to 1.7 there. So it looks like maybe it is indeed looking for a little bit more solar, so that's interesting. So getting up near 2 amps, I would have thought it would have been pulling in much higher, even with the cloud, the overcast day. But it is sucking it in, and but by now, it's already been 5 hours since daylight. So I'm sure it would have collected what it used up last night. It's probably just trying to do a bulk charge slash what's the word for it? Forget the other mode, kind of the top up mode to equalize mode, I guess, or whatever. But anyways, so I mean, it's got all day to suck it up. We'll see if maybe this is part of repairing it. Maybe it's kind of doing its repair bit since it got so low in voltage last night. Anyways, oh well. Seems to be working, and I really have nothing left to lose with this battery anyways, since it doesn't seem to have as much capacity. So I'm just going to use it until I can't use it anymore, till it does not work, and then I'll go for my next option, which will probably be lithium-ion or something. I have some ideas for that, so I will leave it there. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Now the second part of the video is the dust bath for the birds. Now, when there's sun, naturally they want to bathe themselves in the dirt, but there's not a lot of dirt in the coop. So I have this bucket of diatomaceous earth. It's extra. I have a lot of it. So I just filled a box with diatomaceous earth because the hope is that they'll kind of get in there, ruffle it up. They do dust baths because what they do is they get the dust into their feathers and their fur, and that basically kills the little mites that are in their feathers or fur. A little later, I think I actually have it shown here. I'll actually dump a bunch where that bird was up in the top corner of it as well. So this is a real simple way that you can do a dust bath for your birds. I assume it will work. I haven't seen them using it yet, but it's just an idea, and it should work. I mean, it's dust. Diatomaceous earth is perfect for getting rid of the mites around, and you should always sprinkle a little bit around your coop anyways. It's basically just earth from seashells, crushed up seashells, and it kills any exoskeleton creatures, so like mites or ants and that sort of thing. So it's good to keep the bugs down in your coop. And then, like I say, the birds can also have a little bit of a dust bathing and stay healthier during the winter season when they can't really get at the dust in the yard, in the run for them. So hope you found that useful, and let me know what you think of that. And thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Okay.